Hello everyone and welcome to Ecosistant. The PPWR brings many new terms to e-commerce. Two of them sound particularly similar: producer and manufacturer. What is important? They are not the same. The terms describe different roles and they trigger different obligations. For online retailers, this distinction is especially important because anyone selling across borders, using private labels or designing packaging themselves can be affected more quickly than it may seem at first glance. The good news? With the right assessment logic, the classification can be structured well. We have also prepared a practical checklist for you. So let's take a closer look. We're about to get started right after the catchy intro. A quick refresher on the PPWR. If you would first like to get an overview, we have two short videos for you that explain the key basics. In this video, we explain what is behind the new EU packaging regulation and why it is relevant for online retailers. And in this video, we look especially at the changes that will become important from 2026 onwards. So, now that everything should be clear, let's dive deeper and clarify the question: when are you a producer under the PPWR and when are you a manufacturer? Producer or manufacturer, the quick difference. The manufacturer role depends primarily on who shapes the packaging, for example, through brand, design, production, or filling. The producer role depends primarily on who makes the packaging available for the first time in a specific EU country. What matters here is the country in which the packaging later becomes waste. In short, manufacturer equals focus on the packaging, producer equals focus on the market and the destination country. Especially in e-commerce, both roles can come together, meaning you can have both roles at the same time. For example, if you sell private labeled products and ship directly to customers in other EU countries, there is only ever one producer or manufacturer of a packaging, but a retailer can have both roles at the same time for one packaging. Why the distinction is important? The PPWR thinks about packaging more from a European perspective and regulates packaging in the EU more strictly. It does not only look at who physically produces a packaging, it also looks at who uses it under their own brand, who makes it available in a country for the first time, and where it ultimately arises as waste. For you as online retailers, this means you do not only need to check your products, but also your packaging routes. This includes, for example, product packaging, outer packaging, shipping boxes, filling material, labels, films, mailing bags, pallets, and packaging for returns or fulfillment processes. In short, everything that enters your flow of goods as packaging deserves a closer look. Manufacturer according to the PPWR. The manufacturer role depends primarily on who manufactures the packaging or the packaged product, has it developed, or is responsible for it under their own name or brand. In practical terms, this means: is your brand on the packaging? Did you specify the packaging design? Do you have packaging or packaged products manufactured under your name? Do you fill, close, or finalize packaging for your own products? Then a manufacturer role can arise. The manufacturer role is more of a product and conformity role. It concerns the question of whether the packaging meets the requirements of the PPWR. This includes, for example, technical documentation, conformity assessment, and EU declaration of conformity. Typical cases for manufacturer role in e-commerce. Case 1. You sell private label products. You have a product produced under your brand. The packaging carries your brand or was developed according to your specifications. Then the manufacturer role is often with you, even if the physical production is carried out by a supplier. Example, you sell cosmetics under your own brand. The folding carton, the label, and the packaging design are created for your brand. Then it is not just about the sale. You bear responsibility for the packaging. Case 2, you design shipping packaging yourself. You do not use neutral standard boxes, but shipping packaging with your logo, your colors, or your design specifications. Here too, you are in the manufacturer role, because you are not simply using the packaging, you are shaping it with your name or your brand. Case 3, you make substantial changes to packaging. You change existing packaging in such a way that conformity may be affected. This can become relevant, for example, if you rework packaging, recombine it, or use it differently than intended. Then a purely retail role can turn into stronger responsibility. When are you rather not a manufacturer? Not every online retailer is automatically a manufacturer. If you purchase standard shipping boxes, neutral filling material, or commercially available mailing bags and use them without your own brand or your own design specification, you are in many cases not in the manufacturer role for this packaging. But be careful, this does not mean that you have no obligations. You can still have the producer role, and this is exactly where confusion often arises in practice. Producer according to the PPWR. The producer role depends primarily on who makes packaging or packaged products available for the first time in an EU member state. What matters here is the country in which the packaging later becomes waste. For online retailers, the following is especially important. If you sell directly to end users in another EU country, the producer role may lie with you. End users can be private consumers, but they can also be business customers. The most important case in e-commerce, cross-border shipping. Let's take a simple example. You are based in Germany. You sell through your online shop directly to customers in France, and you ship the goods from Germany to France. Then the shipping packaging will generally become waste in France. You are therefore selling directly to end users in another EU member state. This means you are considered the producer of the packaging in France and have corresponding obligations. This is a central point for D2C shops because responsibility does not automatically end at the German border. Producer role means check EPR in the destination country. If you have the producer role in a country, the main issue is EPR obligations. EPR stands for Extended Producer Responsibility. Typical obligations are registration in the respective country, participation in a take-back system or dual system, quantity reporting, payment of recycling fees, provision of evidence, and the ongoing updating of data. The details differ from country to country. This is exactly what makes it so challenging for online retailers. You can be both at the same time. This is possible especially with private labels. One more example, you sell a food supplement under your own brand. The packaging was created according to your design. You sell directly to consumers in Germany, Austria, and Spain. Then your situation may look like this. For the product packaging, you may be the manufacturer. For the EPR obligations, you may be the producer in the respective sales countries. These are two roles. Both must be assessed separately. What applies to marketplaces? Many online retailers sell via Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Zalando, or other platforms. Important, a marketplace does not automatically take the producer role away from you. The PPWR also places obligations on marketplaces. From August 2026, they must check the EPR compliance of their retailers for packaging. Missing registration numbers or missing evidence can lead to restrictions on sales. For you, this means do not clarify your role only when the marketplace asks. A clean overview in advance is better. What applies to fulfillment? Fulfillment does not automatically change the classification. If a fulfillment service provider stores, packs, or ships your goods, you still need to check who makes the packaging available, who triggers the sale, and in which country the packaging becomes waste. In practice, you need clean data flows here. Important questions include: which packaging is used, who purchases the packaging, is the packaging neutral or branded, which countries are supplied, who is the selling company vis-à-vis customers, and which registration numbers must be provided. Fulfillment can simplify logistics. It does not automatically replace compliance assessment. What changes from a German perspective? Many companies have so far mainly been familiar with the German Packaging Act. The PPWR introduces a more harmonized European logic here, with the Packaging Law Implementation Act (Verpackt-EG) adopted by the Federal Cabinet in February and rolling easily off the tongue. The PPWR will be transposed into national law and will apply from August. What is particularly important? The producer role cannot be shifted arbitrarily through contractual clauses. What matters is the actual flow of goods. In other words, who opens the supply chain in the member state in which the packaging later becomes waste? For online retailers, this means old assumptions from Germany should be reviewed, especially if you import goods, resell them, or deliver directly across borders to customers. Here's a handy checklist for your shop. It is best to proceed in 5 steps. Step 1. Record packaging. List all packaging that plays a role in your shop. Do not only think of product packaging, also think of shipping boxes, filling material, adhesive tape, labels, inserts, outer packaging, and pallets. Step 2. Form packaging units. Do not check every component in isolation. Look at the packaging unit. A sales unit can consist of several packaging components, for example, product packaging, label, film, and outer box. Step 3. Check the manufacturer role. Ask yourselves, is our brand on the packaging? Did we specify the design? Do we have packaging or packaged products developed for us? Do we fill or finalize packaging ourselves? And do we change packaging in such a way that conformity may be affected? If yes, you should examine the manufacturer role more closely. Step 4. Check the producer role per country. Ask yourselves, which countries do we sell to? Do we deliver directly to end users? Does the packaging become waste there? Are there local registers, systems, or reporting obligations? Do we already have registrations? And does existing information need to be updated? This step is central, especially for D2C sales across borders. Step 5. Organize evidence and documentation. Collect information from suppliers at an early stage. Clarify who provides declarations on conformity, technical documentation, and packaging data. For the producer role, you also need reliable quantity data per sales country. Without clean data, registrations and reports quickly become tedious. What does this mean for you specifically? For online retailers, the PPWR is no reason to panic, but it is a good reason to clean up processes. The most important task is not to know everything perfectly right away. The most important task is to make your packaging and flows of goods transparent. Then it becomes clearer where you are only retailers, where you have the producer role, where an additional manufacturer role may arise, which countries are affected, which evidence you need, and which obligations already exist or will become relevant from 2026 onwards. And here's the conclusion. The terms producer and manufacturer sound similar. Under the PPWR, however, they mean different things. The manufacturer role is strongly linked to packaging design, brand, production, and conformity. The producer role is strongly linked to placing on the market, sales country, end users, and EPR obligations. For online retailers, cross-border D2C shipping is particularly decisive. Anyone selling from one EU country directly to customers in another EU country should check the producer role in the destination country. The earlier you structure your packaging, supply chains, and target markets, the easier implementation will become. Yes, the topic can seem overwhelming at first. At Ecosistant, we offer a PPWR service and support you with declarations of conformity and PPWR readiness. So feel free to simply write to us and we will take a look at your individual situation. You can find the link to the contact form in the video description. And with that, we've made it. That's it for today. See you next time.